Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode. Today we'll be talking about hearings in the family court, and we are in the UK. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us all from all harm and to keep us away from these proceedings. So in today's episode, I just want to break down, the process or the hearings that take place. So what will happen is, let's say you're not seeing your children and you want to see your children, and there's no communication between you and mum, or you and your partner. So what will happen in that case is you will go to mediation. So now forget you spoke to her dad, nothing's working out. You brought people from both sides of the family. You went to the local imam. All of these things have been exhausted, and now it's time to go to family law. So what happens is you have to apply for a C100 just for contact agreement, and then you might be also applying for prohibited stepsolder. Now again, what I'm saying here, I'm not an expert in this, but I'm just giving you just a reflection and advice, and feel free to get proper legal advice, inshallah. So what court always advise is for you to communicate as parents. Now before you come to court, you need to prove that you tried to communicate, and there was an attempt to go to mediation. Now this is not a mediator that and she knows, someone that you trust. No, it's someone that is registered, and you'll have some in your local area. So basically in the form, I think it's one of the sections, I don't want to quote anything, but what happens is they ask you, have you been to mediation? And if you tick no, there needs to be a reason, whether, let's say, your partner refused to turn up, or there was domestic violence. So if there was domestic violence, automatically they don't expect you to go to mediation, just to safeguard both sides. So now you've gone to court. Okay, so the first hearing is the first hearing dispute resolution appointment, also known as FHDRA. Now this is when you put your case forward, and they just look at what you put down for your proposal for contact, or what's been happening. If there's any prohibited stepsolder, they need to look into the children's welfare, and also if there's any accusations of domestic violence or control or anything like that, as well, they need to look into things. In some cases, and these are the genuine cases, where you will go there and it will be resolved in the first hearing. Okay, this could be for two reasons. This could be because they genuinely want to put things in writing, and they want to have someone to do this for them, i.e. the court. So they go in there and they just want to document the contact and all of these things, and there's no really any disputes, except that, okay, this is what we want, or this is why we're here in court, and they both know why they're in court. In some cases, you will have to go to the next phase, which is the dispute resolution appointment, and this is where they hear evidence, and they ask you to file further evidence, like statements. Also, from the first hearing, they might ask Cafcass to write a Section 7 report, which is key, especially if the children are young, vulnerable, have special needs or anything like that. And then there's excuse me, there's the fact-finding hearing, And then the last one is the final hearing, where you might just jump straight into final hearing. And this is where the child arraignment order is made, and this is when majority of the things that you came to court can be resolved. Not everything will be resolved, but majority of it. Now, you can be applying to court, okay, and you want to see your children, and you put your case forward. Now, always know this, that when you apply, okay, to court, the other side is not just going to stand there and say, okay, let's play a fair game. What will happen is they will throw accusations. They will say, oh, father has been doing this, or the children have been afflicted of some sort of harm. Let it be that because you haven't been seeing them, which is not your fault, that this has distressed them, and this it's been harming the children. So they just make it difficult, and they try to paint a picture that contact is not suitable for this kind of person, because he's not going to keep up with contact, and who's going to be harmed is the children again. And the judge, when you go to court, you might think that you're not being heard. You might think that you're not being given enough space or remit to express yourself, especially if you're self-representing yourself. And this could be a real mess. But again, and I believe that it can work to your advantage if you self-representing yourself, because with solicitors and stuff like that, they speak on behalf of you. They speak on behalf of you, and there's not enough time, so they can say something that can harm you. Obviously, they are professionals, but I personally always self-represent myself. And next time I might bring some Nutella to court, because the amount of waffle that comes out of me, to be honest, is not the one. But it's been working out, and it's been great. Alhamdulillah, so far so good. And I've been to court like 3 times, and Alhamdulillah, I've self-represented myself 3 times against high-end solicitors, and their invoices are just for one hearing is in the excess of £5,000, £6,000. So if you reach, let's say, 4 hearings, you're talking about £20,000. Yeah. And that's nothing. That's nothing if you go to solicitors and they want to add to the fire, because it's a case that you can exhaust and get as much money out of it. So what happens in that case? You are the applicant, because you're filling up the application and you're applying to court. Now your ex is the respondent, or whoever's caring for the children is the respondent. Now the respondent needs to respond with something. So they normally respond with something called order for cost. Okay, so the order for cost is basically saying, from the first hearing, Your Honor, if this proceeding goes any further, so this is what they say basically every time. Yeah, they say this hearing. Yeah, they say this that this person brought mum to court for no reason, just to control mum, just to make her life more difficult. She's the one that cared for the children. They reside with her, and everything that you do, basically, they would never mention it. Yeah, and they will also sometimes, majority of the times, bring up lies and make up stuff. And I'm talking about stuff that that can put you in jail. Yeah, so it's not a joke. Yeah, so you need to be very careful when you go to family court, because it's not a fair game, and you are guilty until proven innocent. And that's something that I want to always say to you, that you are guilty until proven innocent. You're not innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, and because you don't have the children, you don't have a residency, then you are out of the picture. Don't say to me, oh, but I'm the father and we have parental responsibilities. This is all good, but if there are question marks on you, that's enough evidence. Now, I'm gonna get into that, and I want to be fair and just to the family court system. So what happens? So this is the respondent and her solicitors. Majority of them is the solicitors that do this, of course. They say that this application needs to be dismissed, because basically it's just a way to control mom. It's a way to just make her life difficult. This person never commits the visitation, or this person has been harming the children, has been saying certain things to them, blah, 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 yeah. And then all of this is to say one thing, that if this court proceeds to the next phase, okay, if you do not dismiss the application today, then we are basically filing an order for cost. So basically, father needs to pay all the cost, yeah, and or some of the cost, yeah. Now this is very rare, okay, it doesn't happen, yeah, but it is scary. It's scary when you know, especially when you go to the postcode of, when you get emails from these solicitors, and you just put them on Google Map, and you look at what, you look where they are located in in central London, and you go to the team and you look at that, these pictures of these professionals that are gonna come and character assassinate you, okay, because they are assassins. That's I'm sorry to say this, but I've met some really good assassins, but anyway, that's their job, and that's how they earn their money. Yeah, so basically, you need to know one thing, that this is just a way to scare you off, okay, to scare you off, and for you to accept anything and kick out and leave court, or just to say, Your Honor, I just want to withdraw my application. And to be honest, this happened to me once. To be honest, I panicked, but there was no cost. They didn't apply for cost the first time, and you know what, the things that I've heard about me there, and I was like, whoa, yeah, this is not Islamic, this is not ethical, this is not humane, this is something else, this is something else. And I thought, you know what, I couldn't take it, and I just gave mom residency. I said, look, she can just take residency. I don't even know where it is. I don't care where it is. And I just gave it to her. I don't regret it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to regret everything else. I never regret anything that I've done for my children. At the end of the day, she needs to take care of the children, and give her that peace of mind. Even if she's not giving you that peace of mind, you still give her that peace of mind, because she's still taking care of your children. She is, unfortunately, the mother of your children. And I say unfortunately until they fix their behavior and they become proper mums again, because a mother will not alienate the children from their father, or father from children. And it's not just a matter of taking care of someone. Anyone can foster your children. Just taking them to school, feeding them, anyone can foster them and get paid as well for it. So I'm not fussed to all the thing that mom does for the children. Anyone can do this. We're in a society where you can be taken care by carers, or by fostering. Especially, look, in my opinion, of course, you want her to be taking care of her children, but in some cases, strangers will be more merciful towards you. So anyway, we'll go back to the order for cost. Now, all you need to do is make sure that you're not bringing mum to court for no reason. Make sure that it's not you, okay? And I say that, make sure it's not you that asked the court to go from first hearing all the way to fact finding, all the way to final, okay? And I'll give you advice on this one, okay? And then make sure that you conduct yourself well in court, okay? Towards mum, towards her solicitors, towards the judge, and towards Kafkas. So when you go there, it's like your driving test. You need to leave all your bad habits, okay? And you need to go to court, okay? And you need to play the game. Not, don't manipulate. Do not, come up with lies. This is not the game. The game is to stay calm, to stay genuine. Yes, you can waffle because this is your children. Emotional will take over you, and this is why you're self-representing, because you can't afford it. And the court will consider this, and they will say to you, enough stories. They will say to you, we don't need a speech. They will say to you, we only ask for a question. Okay, but it's not a good experience, but Allah's on your side, and especially if you're genuine, especially if you're honest, you will see miracles. You will see miracles, and I say that because I have experienced lots of miracles in there, and I ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to always remind me of my weakness, and always to remind me of how Allah is in my side and the children's side, because this is, we only want to worship Allah through this family. We want to be reunited with them in the hereafter. So anyway, so you have conducted yourself well in court. You did not, even if you've been called names, okay, and this is something that happened to me. I've been called names by her solicitor, and then what happened is I did not respond. I did not say you are the blah blah blah. Yeah, I only brought it up in the final hearing, and only when it came to, okay, so we spoke about contact, we spoke about X, Y, and Z, and we spoke about this. Now let's talk about cost. Why shouldn't you pay for cost? And your justification needs to be, is because this was the only way I can communicate with mum. Mum is not answering. Mum is not communicating. Mum refused mediation. If you can prove this, you're not paying a penny. Yeah. If you can prove that you have conducted yourself well, and they've called you names, and you haven't responded to that, but you bring it, when it's relevant. Yeah. Because big element is how you conducted yourself in court. Okay. And then the final thing when it comes to cost, that you need to show that you've already paid the expense of this alienation and, these children being away from you. And also your financial status. Are you working? Do you have debts? Are you on state benefit? Are you working part-time? Are you, all of these things, of course, it will be taken into consideration. I think I've mentioned a lot, and then also if mum, okay, so another thing, if mum was to accuse you of manipulation, control, domestic violence, all of these things, okay, which is funny, you can just say, look, if she had ground to this, why didn't she go to legal aid? Especially she's on state benefit herself. Why? This is self-afflicted. She went to high-end solicitors because she is not declaring how much she really earns, okay? And she's paying £20,000, £30,000, whatever she paid. This is self-afflicted. This is her still exhausting other people. Yeah, not just the father and the children, other people that gave her money. If she said, oh, Some other people gave me money, or I borrowed money, or, you know, I had to sell my gold, whatever excuse she'll come up with, because obviously she's claiming benefits, or she's playing that I'm the single mom. And because when someone says I cannot pay, they need to show that why they cannot pay, and you need to show why you cannot pay. But so anyway, and then the final thing is you need to prove, or we just mentioned, that it's not you that took the proceeding to evidence finding and final hearing. Is because mom came up with this wild allegations. Therefore, CAFCAS, which is the body that needs to write they call the Children and Family Court Advisory and Support Services, CAFCAS. So they write. So basically, they attend court, and then they get asked, okay, do you want to write a Section 7 report? And they'll say, yes, we need to write this report because to safeguard the children, or otherwise they'll say, look, there's no safeguarding issues. Mom did not complain about domestic violence. There's nothing of neglect towards the children. But if mom put that card down, you should say, yep, that's the one, because she's the one that prolonged the case. Okay, so in that case, what you will do is, when it comes to cost in the final hearing, you will say that it's her, it's mom. It's mom's evidence, yeah, obviously fabricated and false evidence, that led to this long and exhausting disputes. And all of these hearings was as a result of mom. Okay, so in some cases, you know, they will say, they will suggest something. Like, let's say her solicitor will suggest something, and that something that she's suggested is not feasible, and you have to do the homework. You have to just pick up the phone and call. If they say, oh, he needs to go for this course and it costs, let's say, £50, and then you need to pick up the phone straight away, or just Google it. If especially, you know, we've got these virtual hearings today that you can say, I just checked it and it doesn't cost £20, it costs £1,200, or it costs £70 or £100. So this is not much of a difference, but especially if, let's say, they're going to say to you, you need to see your children in a contact center, which they suggested that it cost, you know, £30 an hour, but in reality it cost £100 an hour. And you know, they said that there's certain offers, or it's available, and it's not available because of, let's say, COVID, or there's not enough, you know, they're not taking anyone at the moment. You need to mention this to court, and that will play in your favor, because it's them that recommended this center, it's them that recommended these things, and it's them that are causing this. Because at the end of the day, the judge will go with things according to the book, but also according to mom's preferred methods, because they don't want to put pressure on mom, and you have to play the game. And this is my last point. You need to go by what Mr. Matthew O'Connor said from Fathers for Justice, that you need to say 4 words. I agree with CAFCAS. I agree with CAFCAS. Do not go to court challenging mom, challenging CAFCAS, challenging court decision. It will show that you're not someone that can communicate. You're not someone that can mediate. You're not someone that can collaborate or co-parent. You're someone that just wants to fight everyone, someone that wants only his own way, wants to prove a point, stuff like that. So you need to just say, I agree with CAFCAS. Now, you can't go to court in the first year and say, I said that, to be honest, in one case, and I said from the beginning, I said, look, I'm here. I agree with Section 7 taking place. I agree with CAFCAS. So that was just a mild agreement, yeah? When the report comes, you've got the right to write a statement like everyone else. And then you've got the right to question the CAFCAS officer in the final hearing. And obviously, if you're self-representing, again, you don't know what to ask. You don't know what points to to build, especially when it's to do with reasoning and stuff like that. You need to know how to build your argument. And to be honest with you, I'm not someone that can build like a like a reasonable argument. It can be very emotional. It can be very descriptive sometimes, majority of the time. But it's fine because court knows you're self-representing. So what happens? Okay, you've asked Cafcass, you spoke to Cafcass. Now you come to the final hearing, and they say to you, "So, what's happening now? Did you change your position? You know, from so in the order you said, let's say I want to see the children every day, or every week, or every 2 weeks, and then Cafcass advised that you need to see them, you know, in certain ways. So what do you say? You say, I agree with Cafcass. Unless it's something dramatic, unless it's something that's not safeguarding the children, that, you know, it's, you know, they're tipping towards no contact at all, and there's no ground to it. So, okay, you can dispute them, but go in there and get your court order. Okay? Okay? You need one court order and then build on it. Build on it. Build that relationship with your children. So as long as you can do this in the proceedings, I think you're on the safe side, unless you've done something dramatically wrong, intentional or unintentional. But I've seen cases where the father beat up the mum, he beat up the children, and then even after divorce, he used to put them to the children. They were younger than 6. He used to put them in the balcony. He used to, like, he proper humiliated them, but they still gave him contact. Obviously, build up to contact. So I believe it's very difficult to get no contact at all. Okay, and because, let's say, the respondent, okay, I don't even want to call them anything but that. If the respondent came with this wild allegation, and, you know, the judge, remember that as a judge, you've seen enough in it. You know when it's the solicitor talking, and you know when it's a true story. And it reminded me, you know, because I went through the whole thing until I got my court order, so I did not give up from the first hearing. So after everything, I realized that some solicitors, they push too hard, man. It's like you're in a room with someone, and then she screams. She says he beat me up, and then she says he tried to, you know, physically do something to me. Okay, like rape me. And then he tried to, you know, he also stole my jewelry, and he did black magic on me. And the guy has only been there for like 10 minutes. Okay, all it is you want him to be framed, so the judge can see this. Okay, sometime you see that, you know, they're shutting you down, and they're saying to you, look, okay, you've said enough. It's because they can see. Okay, they can see already from the first hearing that they cannot say that it's alienation, and it's down to Cafcass to say this is alienation or not. You know, father's been alienated, but what they will do is they will play the game, and they will wait until the final hearing, and then they will give you this. The final thing as well, there's something that in court that they might apply for, which is called section, forgot it now. It's basically, it's about section 9114 order, which is an order to bar you from applying to court for a period of 3 years. Okay, so again, the respondent can ask for this through her solicitors. It's because, let's say, oh, the children are going through harm. The children are, every time we do these proceedings, every time it's the children. It's obviously it's the children, yeah. It's all child-led, yeah. So it's the children, and we need to bar this applicant because basically he just keeps dragging mom to court, and so it's very rare they don't grant this. But sometime you, as the father, you need to play a strategic game, and this is not going to be advised to you from court. This is not going to be advised to you from your solicitor, because they don't want to influence your decision, especially future ones, and also not from your family and friends, because it becomes very lonely, yeah, especially when you go to family court. So what happened in this section is basically an order to be made. Is basically to bar you from making any further applications. However, you can still apply to court, but you will need permission first, which is the reason. So basically the reason why you would accept this. So in some cases, Cafcass might say, yes, we are with, yes, we are in favor of Section 91 as well. Yeah. Because the children welfare, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So already Cafcass said that. So, but your strategy is to say, I agree with Cafcass. And again, I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just giving a reflection. Yeah. So if already they said it, lose ground strategically. Say, I am going to lose ground. Okay. Because it's going to show good intention towards mom that I am not going to bring up to proceedings for the next 3 years. However, I've got an order that if it's broken, I can go to court again, get permission, and then come to court. But that permission that I had to get is my free card, is my freedom card from what? From the respondent, yeah? From the respondent applying for cost again. Because it'd be a joke, Court gave me consent to apply, otherwise they would have rejected my application. And I'm here. They filtered it and they knew that I'm genuine. That's why I'm here, Your Honor. That's it. Okay? I don't think, okay, so if they brought you to court, they say, yes, you can come to court. Yeah? Why would you be fearful of order for cost? So I think this is something that I can put out there. And it's a strategy that, to be honest, that I have used, even though it's not advice for everyone, but this is something that you can choose to follow Cafcass advice, or you can go against it. But again, to be honest, if you show flexibility, if you show that someone that can reason, okay, I think the court order will be in your side, okay, and it will not show that you've got any intention of coming back to court, okay. And this is what the judge doesn't want you to. The judge does not monetize this, okay. There's enough cases. It's solicitors that want to make that money. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave it there. It's been like 30 minutes, but I'll just leave it there. And inshallah, until next episode, I hope that you are with your family and loved ones. And I hope that we all reach Ramadan this year, 2021, in the best health and iman, and to be free from this new variant of alienation and child abuse, and from this new COVID, inshallah. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you and grant you wisdom, and to give you and grant you his mercy in this life and in the hereafter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.